Okay, so check this out. Arctic Circle. Modern day couple of researchers out on an ice expedition, right? They're just out there doing their thing. When bam, they stumble on this massive wing-shaped aircraft buried in the ice like some ancient frozen relic. They crack it open, poke around, and then one of them spots something real interesting. A circular object, blue, white, and red, just sitting there under layers of ice. And right away, you know this ain't just some regular wreckage. Flashback to 1942. World War II is raging. And Hydra, yeah, that shadowy Nazi science division is out here making moves. Their top dog, Johann Schmidt, busts into this ancient stone church in Norway, hunting for something. And we're not talking about just any something, we're talking about the freaking Tesseract, a cosmic artifact with ridiculous power. The church keeper tries to throw Schmidt off with a decoy. But Schmidt, he ain't stupid, finds the real deal, and then cold as ice wipes out the keeper and the whole damn village. No loose ends. Meanwhile, over in Brooklyn, enters Steve Rogers. Good heart, body of a toothpick. The guy wants nothing more than to serve his country, but every time he tries to enlist, rejected. Too small, too weak, too many health issues. But Steve, he don't quit. Keeps trying, keeps getting the same nah from the recruiters. He's at the movies, watching a war documentary. When some loudmouth in the back starts running his mouth, get on with it. Tells him to shut up. And the dude turns around and clocks him. Punch, punch. And Steve's like, I can do this all day. And the dude punch him again. Bucky Barnes swoops in, shuts it down, and gets Steve out to there. Bucky and Steve hit up Stark Expo, where Steve again tries to enlist. Bucky's like, Steve, come on, man, let it go. That's when Dr. Abraham Erskine overhears Steve's little, I just want to do my part speech. Something about this scrawny kid catches his attention. The next thing you know, Erskine's like, all right, kid, you're in. Welcome to Project Rebirth. Turns out, he's running this top secret soldier experiment for the Strategic Scientific Reserve alongside hard-nosed Colonel Phillips and total badass chick Peggy Carter. Meanwhile, over at Hydra HQ, Schmidt and his science whiz, Arnim Zola are busy cracking open the Tesseract's energy. Now Steve, not exactly built for war. Training's rough. The other recruits are tossing him around like a rag doll. And Phillips, he's watching like, seriously? This is the guy? But then, Steve pulls this crazy move, fake grenade gets thrown in the training yard. And what does he do? He jumps on it. Doesn't hesitate, doesn't run, just straight up self-sacrifice mode. Phillips is like, he's still skinny. The night before the big procedure, Erskine sits Steve down, lays it all out. Tells him about Schmidt, how he took an early version of the serum, and yeah, it didn't go well. The stuff amplifies what's already inside you. Good becomes great, but bad, it gets worse. That's why Erskine chose Steve, because he's got the heart, and he's been weak his whole life. He knows what it's like to struggle. He'll never take his power for granted. Schmidt and Arnim Zola have already cracked into the Tesseract's energy. And Schmidt, he ain't about to stop at just being strong, he wants to rewrite the whole world order. But first, he needs Erskine gone. Next day, game time. Steve steps into this crazy high-tech chamber, and he's all like, that wasn't so bad, and Erskine's like, that was penicillin, then the real stuff kicks in. They pump him full of super soldier serum, blast him with Vita Rays, and Steve, he's screaming, Peggy's yelling, shut it down, but Steve's like, no, I can do this, start cranks it to max power. But uh-oh, system failure. And boom! He steps out taller, stronger, built like a tank. It worked! But before they can celebrate, bam, one of the lab guys pulls a gun and shoots Erskine right there in the lab. It's Schmidt's assassin, Heinz Kruger. He grabs the last vial of the serum and bolts. But now Steve, he's not just some scrawny kid anymore. He's chasing down this dude on foot, dodging cars, leaping over obstacles, and straight up outrunning Kruger's getaway car. Kruger tries to escape in a mini-sub, but Steve jumps in after him, rips the hatch off like it's made of tinfoil and drags him back up. But before Steve can get any answers, Kruger pops a cyanide pill. Dead. Meanwhile, Schmidt's making moves. He unveils Tesseract power weapons, shows off their insane destructive capabilities, and when 3 Nazi officers show up to check on him, he vaporizes them on the spot and declares Hydra independent from Hitler. He doesn't want to just take over Europe, he wants the whole world. Now Erskine's dead, and with him, the formula. The SSR can't make any more super soldiers, and Colonel Phillips is like, well great, what do we do with this guy now? Enter Senator Brandt. Instead of making Steve a soldier, he turns him into Captain America, the mascot. Steve's on tour doing flashy stage shows, selling war bonds, even starring in comic books. The public loves him, but Steve hates it. This ain't what he signed up for. Steve's at a USO show when he hears Bucky's unit got wiped out. Army's calling them casualties of war, but Steve, he ain't buying it. Goes straight to Peggy, and with Howard Stark's help, gets flown behind enemy lines for a solo rescue mission. Steve sneaks into a Hydra factory, busts out a whole squad of pals, and finds Bucky strapped to a lab table mid-experiment. He cuts him loose, but Schmidt sees what's happening, hits self-destruct, and the whole place starts going up in flames. Steve and Schmidt throw hands, and boom! Schmidt rips off his mask to reveal his true face, the Red Skull. Steve and Bucky barely make it out. It's that rescue mission. Changes everything. Steve gets put in charge of an elite strike team, the Howling Commandos. Bucky, Dum Dum Dugan, Gabe Jones, Jim Morita, Falsworth, and Dernier. Howard Stark upgrades his gear. He's like, what shield you like? And Steve picks the vibranium shield, and Steve's like, what do you think? And Peggy's like, yes, I think it works. Captain America is ready to take the fight straight to Hydra. For months, Cap and his team take down Hydra bases one by one, leading with the picture of that crazy, stupid, fine chick Peggy in his compass. Schmidt, losing his mind. Steve and his team track down Zola on a train, but in the fight, Bucky falls off a bridge into the abyss. Zola is captured and questioned. Over Hydra, Red Skull's prepared for his final assault. Steve's devastated because of Bucky's death, but Carter pushes him forward. Peggy's like, you gotta finish this fight. Using intel from Zola, they track Hydra's last stronghold and launch one final assault. Steve storms Hydra's last stronghold, gets captured. Oh no, Red Skull is about to kill him, but his team arrives and save him. Red Skull escapes and Steve follows him. Red Skull tries to escape in the ship Steve's left behind until Peggy and Phillips roll up with a last-minute lift. Steve's about to jump, but Peggy's like, wait, and kisses him. Steve boards Hydra's massive bomber, the Valkyrie. He throws hands with Schmidt, and in the chaos, Schmidt grabs the Tesseract with his bare hands. Bad move. The cube reacts, a wormhole opens, sucks him into space. The Tesseract burns through the floor, drops into the ocean. And Steve, he realizes the only way to stop the Valkyrie's weapons? Crash it. Steve makes one last call to Peggy. Steve's like, I'm gonna need a rain check on that dance. Peggy's like, all right, what about next Saturday at Store Club? And Steve's like, you got it. And Peggy's like, don't be late. Steve's like, I still don't know how to dance. Peggy's like, I will show you how. Romantic stuff. Then, he crashes the Valkyrie into the Arctic. Howard Stark recovers the Tesseract but never finds Steve. Steve wakes up in what looks like the 1940s until he notices the radio's playing old music. He bolts outside and finds himself in modern-day Times Square, where Nick Fury walks up. He's like, you've been asleep for nearly 70 years. Steve? Barely processing it. Fury's like, you're gonna be okay. Steve like, yeah, I had a date. Oh, and end credits. Steve's training all punching and stuff. Nick Fury shows up. Steve's like, you're here with a mission, sir. Fury's like, I am. Steve's like, trying to get me back in the world, and Fury's like, trying to save it.